Blaire White made a video about me misrepresenting what I said and cutting my video short for controversy, clicks, and views. Now we're going to do a full reaction and see what she has to say. Also show the actual original video that isn't clipped short for controversy. And she also had a lot of not nice things to say about me. Before we get into the reaction, please everyone do not contact anyone mentioned this video. Harassment is never okay, even if it is a bully themselves. I'm going to provide a little bit of context. This is about pronouns and misgendering. Now, when it comes to pronouns, my personal preference, I honestly don't care if you misgender me or call me whatever. I respect your freedom of speech or whatever you want to say to me, because at the end of the day, it really doesn't affect me. You can call me whatever. My pronouns are she, her, but it's not a problem if you misgender me. It's not the end of the world. And in this video, she kind of tries to make it seem that way. Now, this is more of a nuanced discussion, and I use words like weaponize. When I use the word weaponize, I did not say everyone who does it weaponizes. I also cover the case of them just having a different opinion near the end. Remember that this is a TikTok, it's around a minute long, so I structure it in a way that's kind of short to the point. Okay, so now let's get into it. And obviously she misinterpreted and twisted it, so let's watch. You know about misgendering, but do you know about malgendering and degendering? There's sneaky ways to hurt trans people. Some do it by accident, while others weaponize them because they're so sneaky, like microaggressions. What I said is accurate, but I didn't say everyone who uses them is trying to be harmful or weaponize. Some people might just have a different opinion, but some people do intentionally weaponize them because they're so sneaky. I describe that near the end when I talk about malgendering. Degendering is when you avoid someone's pronouns by using they, them, or no pronouns at all. This feels alienating, like when someone only uses they, them pronouns for a trans woman, but for everyone else uses she, her, and he, him. It's a quiet but clear way to dismiss her pronouns. Malgendering is when you validate a trans person's identity only to weaponize it or make fun of them. Some examples: a transphobic person tells a trans man, take it like a man after being hurt, or telling a trans woman, welcome to womanhood after something terrible happens. And even more blatant examples, using words like unkty to mean aunt and uncle combined, or putting a trans person's name or pronouns in quotation marks to make fun of them, like she's making a video. Sometimes malgendering and degendering can happen by accident, but they're often weaponized, and that's why calling it out and raising awareness is important. Some people use degendering as a way to be less disrespectful than misgendering, and that is definitely better, but it is still alienating to trans people in group settings. And yes, many people use they, them pronouns, and they can still be degendered if their pronouns are overall avoided. So again, I believe in freedom of speech, pronouns, all that, but the thing is, it can feel alienating and hurtful to some trans people. As I said, for me, I really don't have that strong feeling when people misgender me, but it can feel alienating, it can feel isolating, and not everyone who's doing it is trying to weaponize it. People do weaponize it, and I gave examples of like hurting a trans man and saying take it like a man. And why I covered this is because I cover trans topics in depth, and I'm not, oh my god, we need to be crazy, you know, upset and up in arms about this. No, I just cover trans topics in detail, and I was giving the words to my audience to know what these things are. And now we're going to watch Blaire's full reaction to the shortened clip of my video. And I'm going to be pausing it just to give my insight into what she has to say about me as well. So my audio cut out, and this is a really important section. She claims to have trans fatigue, but posts videos about trans people 24/7. She's excited when she sees the next video she can twist, turn, or react to, because her success directly relates to her talking about the trans community and painting them in a bad light as much as she can. And there's no denying that. That's the opposite of trans fatigue. We should at least be honest and call it for what it is. That's actually dependence on trans people and the community for relevance, for content. And even if it's in a bad light. And there are other trans creators who have been doing YouTube as long as or longer than her, and they don't talk about this stuff as much as she does. It's been persistent. So that wouldn't be considered fatigue. That's actually the opposite. Degendering is when you avoid someone's pronouns by using...
See, this is why people just call you a man and keep it pushing. Deuces, okay, you're just a man. I mean, what are we talking about? What is this? And what's the purpose? No one cares. Like,
no one cares, yet over 35,000 people liked that video. So some people experience this, and some people are interested in learning. So misgendering is a broader term, and these are more specific scenarios, right? I wasn't saying that this is the most harmful, terrible thing in the world. It's just a video about that topic.
Oh my God. See, this is how I know it's just no hope for this community. I'm sorry. As far as like political representation, it's like,
First off, this community, as if you're not a part of it, you are not exempt to any of the laws that are passed against us, and this community you're clearly a part of. And it's funny how you talk as if you're completely different than all of us when you're not. And political representation, I am not political representation. I don't talk about politics on my page. You do. My existence isn't political. Okay, people want to make it political, but it isn't. I'm a human. I'm allowed to just live. I'm allowed to post content without it being politicized or me having a political message to it.
What in the 2014 do you think this is that people give a shit about even misgendering, but now you want to take them to 2 levels deeper? You just got to fulfill that.
See, you're not refuting anything I actually say. You're not saying that this doesn't happen. You're not saying that people don't malgender or degender. And I didn't say it's the end of the world. I personally don't care if it happens to me. But I was at least putting a word to what it is, and these words already exist. I'm not making things up.
Oh my God. There is really a supply and demand for bullshit. There's a supply and demand for just inventing new concepts and new reasons why you're a victim. I mean, and considering
I'm not a victim, and I didn't invent this.
for you to be so unaware, person.
You use person intentionally. You call me man intentionally because you don't deem me as a trans person who's respectable, unlike your friends who you happen to call she, her. That's fine. You're degendering and misgendering me in a video about degendering and misgendering. You think this is funny? You thought it was funny. Oh, you're a man. Haha. You thought that you ate with that? Really? You didn't. I didn't laugh. Like, no one laughed. And if they did, like, they're entertained by the most basic humor ever. Okay, I don't know what you think you're getting by this. It's intentional, the language that you're using, because clearly you do this 24/7.
Of the fatigue that people have towards the entire concept of misgendering and walking on thin ice and walking on eggshells around people, not knowing what words is going to offend people. For you to be so unaware of that going on culturally right now, for you to be like, let me make it more annoying.
I'm fully aware of the misgendering conversation. I've actually made videos about this saying, I don't care if you misgender me. I've had a video said, call me a man. I don't care if you misgender me. Also, I've made videos about the whole Lily Tino going to restaurants and making wait staff, calling the manager. I've made videos about that. So this message is not saying that you have to walk on eggshells and people, no. I'm not sending that message. I'm literally just talking about something that exists.
Let me make it even more treacherous for you. Now you're like silent around me because you don't want to use the wrong word to offend me. Now I'm going to make it offensive that you're silent around me.
So no, that's not what we were talking about. Degendering, we were talking about the deliberate intentional, not you're not trying to offend someone and you don't want to say the wrong thing. That is a different scenario. And also it is natural to call certain people they, them in some circumstances. I was talking about the deliberate, repeated action of that. And sometimes it's a freedom of choice and other times people are trying to alienate and weaponize. Okay, that's it.
That is some narcissistic weird ass.
I'm not narcissistic, but I think you're quite narcissistic by calling me that. As I said, it would be narcissistic if I had this whole, calling the manager. I literally said I don't care if people call me anything. And I think it's quite narcissistic to think you're above everyone else in the community and think you're exempt from the things because you say this community as if you're not a part of that. So that's quite narcissistic in my opinion.
It's weird. It's weird. And again, I'm trans, and if you came up talking about this to me, I might just call you a man and say deuces.
When would I ever come up and talk to you? Blatant bullying for no reason, even though I've made videos that you might agree with per se. I definitely am not interested in coming up and talking to you. You will just drag anyone through the mud for monetization and clicks.
Because it's no pleasing you. I know you are a grown-ass adult. So
it's funny how you said there's no pleasing you, yet there's no pleasing you. I've literally made videos calling out trans women faking having periods. Lily Tino, there's no pleasing you. It's not no pleasing me. You will rip apart anyone you can get your hands on to monetize.
why you're sitting up in a bed with stuffed animals and shit? What are we doing?
Oh, and you critique me for having plushies, but that's not creepy, but this is. What is this? And we're also going to address this concept that I get all the time, this critique. Okay, first off, Labubu's are a trend. Why don't you call out everyone doing the Labubu? Also, Pop Mart, Japan LA. Japan LA has literally sent me stuff as an influencer. I've had collab with them as PR, and thank you for that. I'm allowed to like things, and it's not connected to me being trans. Lots of people have Sanrio. Lots of people have Labubus. Look at Nicki Minaj. Lady Gaga, Paris Hilton, all of these people have done Hello Kitty collabs, Hello Kitty outfits, full Hello Kitty, and no one goes and harasses them over liking it. You're weird and trans because you have all these stuffed animals. I'm allowed to like things and have interests that are disconnected from me being trans. If you want to hurt me about that, then you can easily go and critique all those other women who are doing those things and men who have Labubus, who have Sanrio collections, because you can easily type on TikTok and you can find people who have them. It's not just me. There are people who have Barbies, there are people who have all this stuff, and you have no issue unless they're trans. I want to make this clear. I would never make fun of someone's physical appearance. I've never have on my page. And this is the trend that Blaire has had in a lot of her content, is that she likes to make her videos in a bullying style. Not always, but at times she'll come for people's looks. And I think that that degrades any statement you have, disagreement you have, because you're not willing to actually have a meaningful, respectable conversation. I'm not interested in tuning into that conversation. I honestly feel sorry for you and the insecurities and projections and the things that you're going through, because you must be going through a lot of hurt if you have to hurt this many people. No one goes and tries and hurts this many people without having something actually that they need to work on. They deserve support and gentleness, even if they're a bully. You know, no one deserves to be bullied. I was bullied a lot in high school and middle school. The thing is about bullies is that they always had something wrong with them. They had insecurities. They weren't truly happy. It was never people who were truly happy that were going to attack other people without genuine debate. You could have watched my full video. You could have interacted with the points that I was engaging with. Instead, you were like, who cares? Why you have to take this further? You're a man. Like, come on. She said there's no winning with me. There's actually no winning with you. There's no types of trans people who you actually uplift and support. It's very rare to see that on your page, making supportive content. And maybe you're going to say, oh, well, that's the lack of representation. So you mean to tell me every single person in the community is just bad? Okay. Yeah, that's not believable, because there may be people like you, you know, if you classify yourself as good, there are other people like you who post videos and make content. And telling me who cares about my content, a lot of people do, and a lot of people care about your content. And I don't think that you should try and tear other people down because you don't like them, or I don't know, like, it's not okay to say who cares about me or about my topics or content, because a lot of people do, including myself. And there's a saying by Lady Gaga that there can be 100 people in a room and 99 don't believe in them and one person does, and that can make it worth doing. And I believe in your ability to get better. And be nicer and make positive changes. But I understand that that's what gets more clicks and views and monetization for you. And I want to address some of the comments that I saw in the video. Some people were saying that I follow you, but I didn't understand this. This is weird. I hope this put this into context that not all of my videos are going to be critical of the trans community. I only talk about current events from a non-transphobic perspective. If it so happens to be controversial, I will give my constructive criticism, absolutely. But in the meantime, I make other content that's about the trans community, about things we go through. And I have a very balanced, nuanced perspective. And a lot of people try and clip my stuff and make me say things that I don't. And I think that's going to happen a lot more. So if you really like my content, just know that make sure to get the source from me, not from someone else, because a lot of people are trying to misrepresent my content. I've had other people I've had to respond to who completely take what I'm saying out of left field. And the reason why is I'm talking about very nuanced topics, right? I can't cover it in a single sentence. And people take with it and run and say I said something. They're weaponizing it intentionally to rage bait and get views, or they lack the critical thinking skills. And, you know, I think that maybe Blaire can have a turn, you know, in the future. Hopefully something happens that makes her better. because I didn't expect this from you. I didn't expect much, but this was out of left field for me. And with that said, let me know what you thought about today's video in the comments down below. And a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. My top tier members will be on the screen. On Patreon, we have exclusive content, unfiltered conversations, and way too much fun. It is the best way to support my content creation. The link will be in the description if you're interested. My social medias will be across the screen. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, click that bell icon, and let me know what you thought down below. And as always, remember that you are majestic. Bye, guys.